Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bain Break It Down Forex. It's your boy Big Bain in this thing. You guys guessed it, another week, another opportunity for us to make some money in the Forex market. So let's get right to it. All right, boom, over on the dollar, guys. Plain and simple, it is going to drop. Right, we might get a little bit more of a push to the upside here, possibly tapping into this supply area at the very top. All right, but pretty much what I'm expecting is dollar to potentially push up to that supply and then absolutely start to tank back down. All right, so for the dollar, I'm bearish. That can play out a few ways, just with a little bit of manipulation, like I showed you guys, mitigating supply and then dropping, or just kind of gapping down first. Right, it can gap down and then retrace and then start to do the dance all the way to the low that we see to the left. All right, but just overall for the dollar, I am bearish. All right, moving over to JPY, and JPY has continued to fall, so it's a bit unfortunate because we were looking for selling opportunities on the JPY, but simply when we look at this 4-hour time frame, we can see that price has broken structure in this area. All right, so we broke this low right here. All right, that is giving us a break of structure to the downside. So once again, we have supply sitting in this area that price can most likely retrace to before continuing to drop. All right, so looking at it on the lower time frame, now we can see that supply zone here again. Once again, that last bull candle before price goes and pushes down, breaking that low. All right, so you guys got to remember that it's very key on identifying your areas of supply. All right, they typically happen where there's imbalance in a move. So basically this first candle and this third candle, they don't share price, so there's a fair value gap sitting there. I'll map it out for you guys so you can see. All right, well, there it is. Okay, and because of that imbalance, right, continuing, or because of that imbalance being created and then price continuing to push down and break that low, that makes this a very strong supply zone, and just a magnetic area to where price most likely wants to retrace to before continuing to push down. All right, so as much as we would love for the JPY index to rise so we can have some selling opportunities on the JPY pairs, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. All right, all of this bearish move has just continued, and it's still continuing. All right, so most likely what we will get is just, like I said, a tap in and then a drop down to this demand area that we see to the left. Once again, that last bear candle before the big push up. So I showed you guys supply and demand right here, right now, for being able to identify it and utilize it, all right, properly. So from that supply zone, you're looking for price to drop. From that demand zone, you're looking for price to rise. It's that simple. All right, guys. But for the JPY index, I am bearish. All right, moving over to odd dollar. All right, clearly here on the 4-hour, guys, we can see that the odd dollar has broken above this high, so it is bullish. All right, so plain and simple, we want to see some sort of retracement. All right, possibly taking out Friday's low. Right, there's a huge fair value gap here, but it got in that fair value gap a little bit, and then we got a nice bullish engulfing candle. So we have momentum breaking this high, so we may not need a whole lot of retracing to continue going higher. All right, but as you can see, there is a fair value gap sitting right here. All right, so basically we'll want to see price, all right, dip into that fair value gap, reject it with some bullish candles, and then from there we'll be looking to buy. You can place your stop behind the FEG, behind this swing or that swing, right? It's all up to you, and aim for this swing high for a buy on dollar. I'm bullish. All right, guys, moving over to euro dollar, same thing as odd dollar, right? We saw the consolidation, very nasty price action for the past couple of weeks or what have you. All right, but now we're breaking out of that consolidation, right? So in case you guys can't see it, Again, here was all the consolidation. All right, but now we've broken out of that. All right, and we're getting a little bit of retracement still to the fair value gap that is created. So I expect euro dollar to rise again right out the gate, as I'm expecting the dollar to fall. Euro dollar and the dollar index are very, very heavily correlated in a negative manner, meaning if the dollar goes down, euro USD goes up, and if the dollar goes up, euro USD typically will go down. All right, but it's you know, it's pretty spot on. It's just you know, it is the highest correlated pair to the dollar. So if you're someone like me and my team who, you know, analyzes the dollar to determine what kind of plays you're going to make on the major pairs, euro USD should be your top pair to, you know, trade on when you're analyzing the dollar, and you have clean setups to where you can see exactly what the dollar is going to do, like we have this week. Again, the dollar will fall. All right, so bullish on euro dollar. All right, over to pound dollar. It's a little tricky. As you can see, we were rising up, and then we started to kind of, you know, push down. We did break some lows, so therefore, you know, we were bearish at this point. But now, instead of respecting the supply area when we pushed up and then, you know, continue to push down, we ended up making a higher low and now breaking this high, which was the strong supply area. So now we've turned bullish on the dollar, and just like our dollar and euro dollar, it also has a fair value gap, which is even more beneficial, or you know, in favor of price rising, because it's showing you that there was major bullish pressure to break that high, and most likely it will continue to push up, especially with the dollar looking extremely bearish. So I'm looking for a potential move like this, rejection of the FEG, coming and breaking the high, giving a little bit of retracement, and then coming right up to these equal highs that we see to the left. And you know, this is how I expect GU to look at the end of the week, where we're potentially catching about 200 pips to the upside. All right, guys, so I'm bullish on pound dollar. All right, moving over to New Zealand dollar. Now, New Zealand dollar has made a hell of a push up. I believe they did have some kind of news that, you know, was a catalyst for this, right? So it made more of a push up than our dollar, euro dollar, and pound dollar, and it is now sitting at this swing high. So it can just blast through here and continue to rise, right? But because of this major move up, I am expecting some sort of retracement down before it rises. Again, it may or may not happen, but overall, you know, if it does, then I'll be looking to buy from that area rather than buying high here, expecting it to continue going higher. All right, so just need to give New Zealand dollar a little bit more time to develop, and then from there I'll be bullish on it. All right, but definitely don't buy it high, guys. All right, wait for some sort of correction and then look to buy it. All right, bullish on New Zealand dollar. All right, over the dollar CAD, a very clean setup. All right, guys, you see this upward price action that we had, and then we had this massive bearish candles breaking this low, right, and making a new low, and we have a lower high. So we are now bearish. All right, but I do expect price to push up into the supply area before it drops. All right, now that may not happen, and that's what you guys need to, you know, right? Price can just drop right from where it is and get to whatever swing low is nearby, right? So boom, here's a 1 or 2, just getting right to this particular support area. All right, so you can get a position like that, get about 65 pips out of it. All right, but I'll be looking for price to get all the way to the swing low point here for about 239 pips on dollar CAD. I am bearish, guys. Very clean setup. All right, over to dollar CHF, and again, we kind of, you know, look like we were breaking this low, but we didn't. So we're rejecting it so far, but we're starting to get more bearish pressure. So again, if you want to sell this, it's not ideal to sell it here at the low at a support area. Again, looking left, last time it was here, it pushed up, right? So there may be potential of, you know, dollar CHF pushing up, you know, a little further before it tries to drop. All right, and then that's at least how you kind of want to go about it, is making sure that if you want to sell it, that you're selling it from a high point, not a low point. And that's, you know, pretty much all there is to it. So with dollar CHF, possible retracement into this fair value gap, and then a drop, or we could just drop right here, and you know, you might miss it, right? But that's okay. All right, you can wait it out, wait for that retracement, that correction, and then get back in, and that'll be a better play than just buying it low. All right, so please, you know, hear me out. All right, bearish on dollar CHF. All right, dollar JPY. So once again, I told you guys the JPY index was falling. All right, so now you can see with the dollar JPY, we broke this high, made the new high, but as we started to retrace, we broke this strong low right here. We did it barely, but it's enough to have a change of character in the opposite direction. So from going up to now going down, and now we, you know, even made a lower high right from this high, tapping into supply, and then, you know, price just kind of consolidated for now. But you know, the theory obviously is that JPY is going to drop because the JPY is weak, right? Or well, not the JPY, but the dollar is weak, right? And it's the base currency here, so I'm expecting that drop. JPY could absolutely start to rise, right? But just from a technical standpoint, USD JPY definitely looks very, very bearish. And you can see my team has already sold it. We're looking to catch it all the way down to this swing, and I believe that's over 500 pips or so. Okay, 418, but a very nice opportunity or selling opportunity on dollar JPY. I'm bearish. All right, over the pound odd, we broke the low. We got a nice supply area with a nice fair value gap, right? Did a little bit of, you know, trading sideways before we broke it. So there's also a supply area here that we can potentially tap into and reject before we continue falling. All right, so just overall know that pound odd is very bullish. I mean, I'm sorry, very bearish, right? So just watch out for, you know, potential retracement into one of these supply areas before you sell it. But if you sell it right now, if you have your stop above here, then you won't really have to worry about the retracement, right? You're covered for your stop loss. You just have to, you know, let time go by, and eventually it will play out in your favor, right? So I'm bearish on pound odd. All right, pound CAD, very nice setup for a selling opportunity as well, right? So here we broke this low, made the new low, and we tapped into supply. So this is mitigated now. So it is very good to not take position right out the gate when the market opens, because the spread will be high. But once the spread lowers, right around 9 p.m. Eastern time, then you'll want to look for this selling opportunity on pound CAD, where you can easily get away with the 1 to 4 risk to reward and about 250 pips on your take profit, guys. Easy setup, ready to rock and roll on pound CAD. I'm bearish. Pound CHF is also bearish. Broke the low, made the new low, most likely going to retrace and tap into supply before we push down to this low, and that'll get you about 90 pips out of that. I'm bearish on pound CHF. All right, pound New Zealand, you can see it's definitely made a huge bearish move, breaking this low, but now sitting at this support area to the left, where again it can potentially start to rise from. So how all the other pounds are looking a little bit more bearish, or a lot more bearish, this one is looking a little bit more bullish. All right, guys, so don't sell it low. Again, wait for some sort of correction, retracement to your points of interest, right? Your supplies, your fair value gaps, what have you, your Fibonacci areas. And then from there, look for your selling opportunity and try to take it. But right out the gate, I would try to buy pound New Zealand and, you know, put a very tight stop, probably trail it to see how far up it will actually, you know, do a correction before looking for a selling opportunity. All right, bullish, but then potentially bearish on pound New Zealand. All right, over to GJ. So GJ has barely broke this high here. All right, so it's pretty tricky. All right, it's not crystal clear what GJ is going to do, because, you know, we pushed above this high right here, and then we also broke above this high. So this is giving bullish, you know, vibes, if you will. and we have plenty of fair value gaps to the downside that GJ can potentially tap into before rising. All right, so again, with the JPY looking like it wants to fall, typically pairs, the JPY pairs will rise in that kind of a scenario. So I'm looking for GJ to tap into this FEG, maybe take out the low of Friday and then head on up. All right, bullish on GJ. All right, silver. All right, we got a hell of a debate going on. Shout out to my dog Ted's in the building. All right, but you know, he's bearish on it, and I absolutely see a fall, especially from a higher time frame. All right, I can see that this supply area here still has not, you know, had price push above it to, you know, give us a good shift in the structure from down to up, right? But at the same time, as we get a little lower, all right, we can start to see that right in this area, you guys can see this demand, right? So we may most likely get a push down to this demand, maybe a little bit lower into this fair value gap, and then maybe even taking the low of the previous week, which is at $71, before we get that rise to the sky. All right, because the dollar looks so bearish, guys, is why I'm more bullish on silver than I am bearish, right? But that doesn't mean silver can't fall. All right, so silver most likely will give a drop when the market opens today, but starting the week, we do have some economic news for the dollar that could absolutely be a catalyst on pushing silver up. And I believe that's more towards Thursday and Friday. So, you know, it may be slow until then, but definitely looking for that buying opportunity on silver, especially from this demand area or this potential weekly low. And from there, guys, we'll have a nice payday for sure. But if we don't drop and we just start to rise and we break above this high here or even the supply, chances are we're heading up on silver without any sort of correction. All right, guys, so temporarily bearish, all right, to the demand on silver, but overall bullish, just waiting for that opportunity. All right, moving over to gold. As you can see, gold is also at a supply area, but it's hanging in or hanging around this demand area to where it can absolutely push up from that. And with the dollar looking so bearish, right, we can start the market where gold just gaps up and continues to go, right? Even though there's plenty of liquidity to the downside, right? It's just we also have to battle this demand area. So where I would be more bearish on gold is if gold did something like this, broke below that demand area, possibly below this low, all right, and then came back to respect this and started coming down and closing like this. If it did that, then I will be more willing to take the sell from here and then catch it all the way down to the previous week low. But once it gets there, here is our demand area that I'm expecting gold to start to reject and reverse from and start heading on up, possibly to 6,000, getting back to new all-time highs, guys. So again, kind of expecting the majority of the bullish movement on gold to be towards the end of the week, but you never know what'll happen. It could be before then. You just, you know, got to stay ready, so you don't got to get ready. All right, that's what it is. I am temporarily I'm overall bullish on gold, but I can see potentially a little bit of a drop. All right, but still overall bullish. All right, over to natural gas. Again, we broke the high to the left, made the new high, and slowly we broke this low. So I am expecting just a little bit of a correction back down to this demand area, and then from there we'll probably head back up. But temporarily bearish on natural gas, and then from there, again, I'm looking for it to tap into demand and begin to rise once again. All right, over to oil, and we broke some lows, all right, and we made a new low, but now I can kind of see that we may be getting ready to head back up, but we definitely need to break above this strong supply area before we do, and then from there I'll be looking for oil to continue rising. All right, so overall bullish on oil, but I need to see price break above and probably back into the zone before I take that buy. All right, moving over to SPY, and SPY broke the high, made the new high, did a little bit of retracement, but hasn't broken any lows. And with the dollar looking extremely bearish, typically SPY will rise. So therefore I am bullish, but again, huge imbalance that has not been filled in this area. So whenever you're trying to buy, guys, you don't want to buy high, right? Yes, you can get away with it, right? If you buy it here, maybe a tight stop here or below this little swing point, which was Friday's low, right? You may be able to get away with it, but you would prefer for it to come down into your fair value gap, right? Respect and reject that, and then come back up, and then from there you'll aim right to that high and make your money easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, but for now I'm temporarily bearish, but I'm overall bullish on SPY. All right, over to NAS, same exact thing, guys. You can see we broke this high pretty nicely with a huge bullish candle, right? And then we took that back. All right, so that is a little telling that possibly we can start to continue to push down, but for now it is still very, very bullish. It is respecting this area of demand, right? And it can just rise right out the gate as the market opens. So don't look for it to give a huge push down, right? Before you buy it, you can potentially buy it at this price point here, giving yourself a tight stop right below this demand. But of course, if it does happen to drop, that is a better opportunity for you to get into the buy with a discount, right? So you're getting in at a lower price instead of a higher price, and that's going to yield you more of a return as price begins to push up and the dollar begins to fall. All right, so I'm bullish on NAS, but watch out for a potential drop before the rise, or you just take it now and take it with the tight stop. All right, last but not least is US30, and we see US30 broke this high way over here, made the new high, and ever since it's just been consolidating in that area. So don't really know if it's going to continue to rise, but I can see that here was our retracement, and then all of a sudden we broke above all of these highs even here. So we are still bullish on US30. It's just a matter of where do we want to get in now, because it looks like we can get a position like this, right? Or if you want to wait to see if any lows are taken out like Friday's low, then maybe your position will be from this area and then just coming back up to the high point, which will give you about 500 points on US30. All right, so again, guys, we got opportunities this week. Just need to be ready to take advantage of them, and all will be well. All right, meantime, in between time, y'all know what it is. It's your boy. Peace.
Want to get money? Want to get paid? That's Forex. Like a sensei, then you know you got to come and swing my way. And if you want to fast forward here, replay.